Hey kids, Hugh here for Roaddogs.com. We took off early and the sunrise we were greeted with said it was going to be a beautiful day. Our Everything Arizona trip was underway. The first part of our trip is across the Mojave Desert, and since it is just like driving to Vegas, we decided to break it up a bit. So at Needles, we headed up to Laughlin, Nevada, and then we crossed the Colorado River at Bullhead City. That way we could go over the mountains and down into Kingman, Arizona, where Lynn and I have an old friend and wanted to take her to lunch. Most people say the Grand Canyon when asked what they know about Arizona. So what better place to start? And what better way to get there than by train? And the place you catch that train is in Williams, Arizona. The Grand Canyon Railway is a first-rate operation where you can take a day trip to the canyon or stay at one of the South Rim's hotels and return on a different day. They have options for all budgets and time constraints. We took one of their Rail to the Rim packages, which gave us a night at the Railroad's Hotel in Williams, a night at the Maswick Lodge at the South Rim of the Grand Canyon, and then another night in Williams. It also included round trip on the train, most meals, and a 1.5-hour bus tour at the Grand Canyon. We went ahead and also paid a few extra bucks for seats in the luxury parlor cars at the rear of the train and full access to all areas of the train. The Western-themed train leaves in the morning around 9:30, and prior to departure, they put on a little Western skit for the tourists that comes back around later when the train gets robbed on the way back. The 65-mile train ride takes about 2 hours, and it winds its way through some very beautiful country. As I mentioned before, we sprung for the luxury seats and full access to the train. And what a train it is. It has luxury cars with an open platform at the back, a glass dome car that gives a full 360-degree view, and several other cars with basic seats. Each car is themed slightly different and all are very nice. The staff are all wonderful, and the 2-hour trip is over far too soon. After arriving at the park, you trade the train in for a bus that will take you to lunch and then off for a tour of the fantastic viewpoints here at the South Rim. Once that is done, you will either be dropped off at your hotel or back at the train station for your return. Since we were not leaving until the next day, we got out at the Maswick Lodge and we were left to our own devices. A few things about the canyon. It is about 16 miles wide at the widest point and 270 some odd miles long. Most people that visit come here to the Grand Canyon Village on the South Rim. It has a year-round population of a little over 2,000 as of the 2010 census, and that spikes dramatically in the summer. There are several distinct areas to the village also. If you got here by train, the first thing you encountered was the train station. That sits just below the historic district, where you will find the main hotels and eating venues. We stayed here at the Maswick Lodge, and it also has fast food options. If camping is your thing, there are plenty of spots for that, and they are close to grocery, laundry, and showering options. The Visitor Center has many informative and interactive displays that provide valuable insight about the canyon. It is here you will also catch the Canyon Rim Trail, a 2+ mile walk back to the historic district that is accessible to anyone. Along this trail, several other trails branch off into the canyon. Depending upon your fitness level will depend upon how far you get. Just understand, you are in the desert. You are 7,000 feet in the air. Make sure you have plenty of water and take your time. Doing so will allow you to enjoy the many visual delights the Grand Canyon has to offer. The first day that we were there, we went out to a place about here and filmed a time-lapse of the sunset. You can find it on Roaddogs.com in the Sunrises Sunset section. The night we spent here on the South Rim was sweet, and we found the Maswick Lodge nice. It consists of several buildings spread out amongst a beautiful pine forest, and it is within a short walk to the edge of the canyon. We filmed the sunset, got something to eat, and called it a night. Something you should be aware of here. The temperatures vary dramatically, and that can change quickly, so be prepared. We got up early and caught the shuttle over to the visitor center, and then walked the rim trail back over to the historic district. As most of you know, the old Road Dog is semi-disabled, and at the time of our trip I was going through a bad time with my back and legs. Even so, I was able to manage the rim trail without a problem. While some of the old-time viewpoints along the way are not ADA accessible, the rim trail itself is, and even if you are in a wheelchair, this trail is for you. From the breathtaking views of the canyon to places like the Geology Museum and the Trail of Time, the Canyon Rim Trail is beautiful. One of the things I found fascinating was all along the trail were examples of different types of stone found in the canyon. Each piece is sliced and polished, and it is remarkable how beautiful stone can be. Once you get to the historic district, you will see the Hopi House and the historic El Tovar Hotel. We were going to have lunch at the El Tovar, but the two women greetings there were so rude and snooty that I will probably never go back on any future Road Dog trips to the canyon. We instead went down the trail to the food venues close to the Bright Angel Lodge. We had a little bit of time before the train left, so we spent it just hanging out and taking pictures. Just like the train ride to the canyon, the ride out of the canyon is over far too soon. Our last night here in Williams is also the night of the supermoon, and that was very special. All in all, a great trip to the Grand Canyon, and I highly recommend taking the train the next time you go. You will find a link to the Grand Canyon Railway at Roaddogs.com. So there you have it, part 1 of our Everything Arizona trip. I hope you enjoyed it and come back for part 2, where we go out to Winslow to see what's so special about their corners. We also visit a large meteor crater, Sedona, and an old mining town called Jerome. So until then, this is Hugh for Road Dogs Travel saying, see you later.